In today's video, I'm going to be going through some of the stationery that I used on my trip. I'm going to be reviewing the stationery that I took with me, talking about any changes that I made to that stationery before I went, and seeing what I actually used. So, first things first, if I sound a little bit sick, that's because I am. The classic thing of getting a cold as soon as you get back from a trip. So, apologies if my voice is really annoying, or more annoying than usual anyway. Okay, so first things first, you will see here that I have got the lovely Hobonichi small drawer pouch. You'll see that I've made some changes to it, and that is because along my trip I've picked up some little travel patches and put them on here, and I really love how that looks. I put this one on before I went away. It's just a little Australia one, and yeah, I've got a few other little bits that I want to add to here, but I'm really happy with how this looks. I was a bit kind of so-so about this pouch when I first got it, but now that it's got the little patches on it, I absolutely love it, so I'll definitely be using this a whole lot more. So that's what I took with me. I will link in the cards my video where I talk about my travel stationery setup, so you can see kind of what my original intentions were. Things changed a little bit, so let's start with that. So before I went away, I actually kind of ditched a whole bunch of stuff because I was going carry-on only, and I was only allowed 7 kilos, which is not very much for a 5-week international trip, but I did make it work for the way out. Definitely didn't make it work for the way back with all the stationery that I bought, but it was surprising how heavy this thing was. I think it came to like 1.3 kilos or something, which is mad. So I took out some stuff. So these are the things I took out. So I took out this little eraser. I took out a bunch of Christmas ephemera. I did leave a whole bunch in there, but I took this stuff out. I took out the Hobonichi double-sided sticky tape, and I took out the extra insert, with my rationale being that I can pick up one from the stationery shops that I'm going to be visiting. Stickers, so this was some like letters that I had that I was going to use. I took out that sticky note and the envelopes. I didn't end up taking all of them. I also took out my scissors because I think if you remember in my video where I talk about my setup, I was concerned that perhaps they wouldn't be allowed on the plane. As it turns out, they wouldn't have been allowed on the plane, but I didn't have any issues because I took them out before I went. I've since lost them, so they're somewhere in my apartment, who knows where. And that's it. And things that I added, so I did add in a couple of things. I don't think I talked about it, but I took an A4 display book. So it's one of the ones with the plastic pockets in it. This came in so useful. You can see it's absolutely stuffed with stuff that I got on the trip. And this was just really a really easy way to kind of organize and protect the stuff that I took, and I will 100% be taking one of these every time I go on a trip, really, because they're so thin that when they've not got stuff in them, they're tiny, so it really makes sense to do that. And especially because I like to collect paper, so decorative papers, which is basically what this is. Yeah, this was fantastic, but also just for organizing like maps or the bits of ephemera that you might pick up. It's great. Very happy that I took that with me. And then if we have a look inside here, additions, let me see. Okay, so you can see there's another little patch waiting to go on there, and there's a little pin badge for Beamish, which is the place that we visited, and then inside just some little cable organizers. These are really cute. They have little dogs on them. Nothing really much changed in here, but I did put in a mild liner. And I also took, which again is not in here, it seems to have gone elsewhere, my partner's, which is basically the same, is here. So I just took one of these packajotters with a brown ink refill, and that was for the times that I wanted to be writing where I was on a plane. So what I was doing is I had my Kaveca Brass Spot, which was my main pen, and I was using the De Atramentis document ink cartridges. And when I knew I was going to get on a plane, I would take the cartridge out, put it in the bin, just so there wasn't any leaking anywhere, and then I would start using the Parker Jotter, and that worked out really well. I will say that for the length of the trip, most of the time I was writing with my fountain pen, and I probably used only just over 1 cartridge of ink. So that's for a 5-week trip with a lot of writing. I guess a lot of times we can get kind of hung up on ink capacity. And it was really interesting to see how much ink I actually used for this trip, because I think there's about 0.8 of a mil in one of these. So I probably used like 1.5 mil. That's like nothing. So what did I use? Honestly, not very much at all. Now this is to do with the fact that I had time to write, but I didn't really have time to decorate. What I ended up doing was I had this pencil. I used this. I used my ruler a little bit, and I used this little bit of card here. I used the pocket jotter, I used my ink cartridges, and I used my Quebec brass bar. And really that is all I used. I guess I used this case to carry a few little bits of stationery around that I'd purchased on the way, but I didn't use it for anything else. And I didn't use any of the other stuff in here. And I guess it was kind of eye-opening. It was a very busy trip. Like, we were very like go, go, go. So I don't know if perhaps if we had a slower pace one, I think I would have definitely got round to more of the kind of travel journaling, decorating with ephemera and that type of stuff. This trip, really all I had time for was to write. And so I was writing when we were traveling between places. So I think we went to 10 places in total, and most of the travel between those places was train. So I had a bit of time to write then. I don't regret taking this stuff. I think it made me realise, I guess, I need to think more about what type of trip I'm going to have. So if I am going to be very busy and like go, 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 I'm not going to have not even just the time, but the energy to sit down and travel journal at the end of the day. And that's fine. I just need to be more realistic about that. If I had have had the time, I would have loved the fact that I had this stuff with me. So what I did with these, and then I guess my 2 pens, this was basically all I used. So I have this piece of card. Now I originally took these with me with the intention of getting the Travelers Company shop stamps, but I ended up using something else, so that was fine. What I use this for is when I was writing my entries in my journal, I would block off a little bit of space with this if I wanted to put in a photograph. So if I knew that I wanted to include a photograph of that bit that I was talking about, I would pop this on the page and draw around it, so I knew not to write over that area, basically. It's like a stencil. So this is the same size as my photographs that I print with my Kodak Retro Mini 2. And then I will use like a collage app if I want to make the picture smaller. So that is why I've also folded it in half. So on some pages, you know, I'm just going to do a little small one or landscape as well, and then I'll write around the rest of it, and that really worked well. So I don't really regret taking this stuff. I'm glad that I took out the stuff that I did take out, and it's really interesting and exciting because, as you'll have seen from my like travel ink video, I like to get things down really small and compact, and so realistically with this I know that I can have an incredibly small, incredibly compact travel stationery kit, because all I would need would be these 2, some ink cartridges, a biro, and then my fountain pen. What this also does as well though is it opens me up to be able to take other things. So I could take like a mini paint palette and a mini paintbrush, and it would still be absolutely tiny. Have you seen my previous video? Were you watching it like, she's not going to use that stuff? I do really love watching people travel stationery setup videos, and it is interesting to see people actually talk about what they did actually use. I guess it's tempting when we have all of this stuff to try and take it and use it, I guess. I really felt like I had pared everything down with what I was taking in here, so it just goes to show I had not. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see more of my other kind of travel content videos, then please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!